You're watching the fastest, safest, most effective laser for hair removal. This is the Trio Laser. It's 3 different wavelengths. It's the best, fastest laser to date for hair removal that's available. We always apply a clear gel before we treat an area, and typically you use a little cold air for further comfort. On the front of the body, you hold the cold air yourself. The laser does have a chill tip, which keeps it at 5 degrees Celsius, which makes it very comfortable. This one is the diode laser, which is the one we choose if you have just the slightest of tan, because the other lasers are not as effective if you have a slight tan. But if you have no tan and very pale skin, the Alexandrite laser is better because you actually doesn't hurt it at all unless you have very coarse hair. The average person says the Alexandrite laser is completely painless. Now the Nd:YAG laser is also completely painless, but you have to move it much slower, less than half this speed, so it would take much longer. It targets the hair bulb, so it doesn't actually burn the hair at all, so you don't get any sensation of the hair burn. You can't feel the bulb getting burned. It misses the skin, which is why it doesn't matter how dark your skin is when you're using the YAG laser. This one does have 3 different wavelengths. You're seeing the diode laser being used because it's the one that's most commonly used, but we do have the other wavelengths, the YAG if your skin is really dark, and the Alexandrite if it's really light. The other 2 are completely painless. This one feels much more comfortable than waxing, but you do feel it slightly. Nothing bad, everyone finds it tolerable. It's much better than the previous diode lasers that we were using that were also effective, but this one's even more effective and much more comfortable than the previous diode lasers. As you can see, the entire body is being done very quickly. She had most of her body done. It only took 6 minutes because she did not have all of her belly and back done. The average person, though, if they have the majority of their body done, only takes 10 minutes. It's $300 for the first 10 minutes and then $10 a minute afterwards. It's very unusual for anyone to take longer than 15 minutes, with the average person only taking 10 minutes. We do 1 pass on the area very quick. This is actually at real time. This laser is so strong that 1 pass on the area will kill all the hairs that are growing at that time, or at least the majority of them. Nevertheless, you end up coming back once a month, and you have to do it at least 6 times to kill the majority of your hairs, and the average person ends up coming closer to 12 times because they want to become nearly completely hairless. It won't kill the peach fuzz, and it won't kill the white hairs. It'll just kill any hairs that are darker than your skin. If you have a tan, you'll notice all of a sudden that your results are not as good, so we recommend you have no tan and no fake tan. And to make it comfortable, we recommend you shave your hair. The laser is going to burn the hair as if it was a fuse, and it's going to burn the hair all the way down to the base, because the base is what you have to kill. That's how these lasers work. And if you have a long fuse, you're having unnecessary pain. And you're also taking away the energy to burn the surface. You want to burn the base. So shave right before you come. Don't wax. If you wax, you actually remove the fuse, and there's no way for these lasers to burn the base, which is the bulb of the hair, without having a fuse. So if you take all the fuses out because you waxed, you'll find that this laser is not effective. As long as it's been a month since you waxed, though, you're okay. You can always come in. You will find this laser much more effective than what most doctors or estheticians are using, which is an intense pulse light, which is not a laser whatsoever. They're very slow. It would take about 12 hours to do the entire body, and they're very painful. Certain areas you just can't tolerate because they also burn skin a little bit. This one actually does not burn skin. It's only burning hairs, and it's only going to be uncomfortable if you have a very large amount of coarse hairs. If you do have a very large amount of coarse hairs, you can use some topical numbing on these smaller areas. But in general, we just move it faster, so it's more comfortable. The slower you move the laser, though, the better and more effective it's going to be. So we try to move whatever you find as a comfortable speed. This patient found this to be a very comfortable speed, and it's very effective at this speed. This is actually real time. We're only putting the laser where she actually has some hairs. She's done this a few times, which is why she doesn't have a lot of hairs left right now. And like I said, we can pick the wavelength based on the skin type. This is the diode laser, which is the best one for her. If she has just slightly lighter skin, we can also use the Alexandrite laser, which is also going to be about equally effective if your skin is very light. And if it's really light, super light, the Alexandrite works even better than the diode. They're both very fast, safe, and effective. And as you see, it just takes 1 pass very quickly over the areas. You can just do certain areas if you want. You don't have to do the entire body. The best pricing is if you do the entire body at once. So this patient It took 6 minutes to do her entire treatment of her entire body. She did not do her back or most of her belly, but she did most of the rest of her body, and it only took 6 minutes. You should plan on it taking more like 10 minutes though, because most people have a little bigger area to do, and also they're a little taller. The taller you are, the longer it's going to take. She's only 5 foot. Now this patient has received nearly 90,000 joules of energy, almost 2,500 pulses at 15 joules per centimeter for each pulse, and the pulses are going 10 times a second. It's a 20 by 10 millimeter chill tip, which is why it's so fast and effective.